Hello, everybody, and welcome once again to Action Theater Presents. Today's feature be will be Hacksaw Ridge. Okay, sorry for the delay. We having some technical difficulty behind the scenes, but I am your host, Outlaw Bill. My co-host, Deleted Scenes, will read the synopsis and tell you about today's film.
All right, the synopsis is as follows. Hacksaw Ridge is the extraordinary true story of Desmond Doss, is played by Andrew Garfield, who in Okinawa during the bloodiest battle of World War II saved 75 men without firing or carrying a gun. He's as he believed that while the war was justified, killing was nonetheless wrong. He single-handedly evacuated the wounded from behind. Scroll up, please.
You got it all?
Anyway, this tells the story of a guy named Desmond Doss, who's a conscientious objector during World War II. He refused to carry or fire a gun, and this is basically his story. All right. As you know, due to the guidelines set down by YouTube, we cannot air the film live.
Yeah.
I repeat,
Yes.
the film cannot be aired live. What you're going to be seeing today
No, it
is
can't.
effectively a fan commentary, kind of like a commentary DVD track. You will either need
Yeah.
to be with us live on Cosme or follow along. The film is on Fandango at home. It is available readily on physical media, which we do suggest. There is a 4K out right now that is pretty excellent. So I'm just gonna say this plain. Anybody who goes on to my comment section after this and go, "Where's the movie?" or "I'm going to take your channel down," you are going to be blocked from my channel. Period. Point blank. If you can't understand commentary only, that's not mine or Bill's
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah.
Okay. This is rules set down by YouTube. If it
Yeah.
were up to us, we would show it. We can't without either heavily editing it down or putting a bunch of watermarks over it where you're not going to be able to see a thing.
Or we could do, the things we could do is have a still slideshow, but that
Yeah,
takes a lot of work
it
and a
takes a
lot
lot
of
of work.
effort. So we don't bother with that. I mean, we could do
No.
it, but that would require a lot of work on on us. So it's just easier to give you the commentary and follow the rules of the AI overloads of the YouTube, right? Uh, the film should be posted right there. There's a link to the Cosme screening room. I implore you now to follow us over there, and you can watch along if you're here with us live. And I will give a 5-second countdown, and then I will push the play button. Okay. And away we go. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, and go.
Hello to Andrea Black. Thank you for joining us. I see Connie Cleary as well. And thank you, Connie, for the
So
25
thank
month
you for your
member
25 strongly month. Yes.
for my program Coming Attractions, and might be a little something in there for the members. So stay tuned for that. FKHC 2005, sometimes known as Tim. You can find the Cosme link at the top and or bottom of the chat, depending on where YouTube has decided to place it today. Argent Pictures. A true story.
You have to have some type of admiration for the reenactment within the filmmaking of this historical event. And they get pretty graphic with these opening
Yes,
shots
they do.
with the explosions and men being on fire. It just shows the filmmakers were trying to be very historically accurate in the depictions of the events of reality that unfolded back then. Of course, they start the film towards the end of the film.
Mhm.
Sometimes movies do that, and then they take a jump back to the past, what brought him here to his beliefs. So this is Desmond playing with his older brother as they were kids. Thank you, Tim, for showing the pictures of when your journey travels to France.
Hmm.
Their old man, played by Hugo Weaving.
Mhm. He's a World War I vet.
You may know him in roles as uh, The Matrix and what's the other one?
Matrix, V for Vendetta.
V for Vendetta. and Lord of the Rings
Mhm.
trilogy. He didn't let boys be boys, brothers fighting brothers. I know. I've had some fist fights with my brothers. Ooh. Now he was fighting dirty.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have done that with the brick. AL
Rachel
showed
Griffiths playing the mother.
6252. Yeah, he kind of felt bad after doing what he did to his brother, and that's probably the point where he says, "I'm not going to be a non-violent person," because I've seen what the heat of it can
Mhm.
come to. Basically, his actions with this fight with his brother turned him instantly into a pacifist. Help me with this word, pac, pacifist. Is that the word?
Pacifist. Yeah.
I think I'm looking for? Yeah. So now we jump ahead of time again to 15 years later.
Mhm. And he's become more heavily involved with the church at this point.
Yeah, his mom was a strong Christian
Mhm.
woman who attended church with frequencies, as most good Christians do. We hearing sounds
Hmm.
outside of a boy who was working on a car. Uh, they didn't have really good jacks back then, and he was using basically bricks to hold up the car, and guess the weight shifted, and the car came down upon this poor young man, and he's using his belt as a tourniquet, and now they're rushing the boy to the hospital, bleeding with a Dawson's belt as a tourniquet. So he's just. I think this is where he finds out he can be useful if he learns uh, trauma
Hmm.
trauma medic care. And he also finds the girl he falls in love, wants to, a girl he can't resist. Who happens to be a nurse. Yeah, Peter Parker the younger, he says Tim.
Mhm.
Well, that's good to know. FKHC 2005 says you are a conscious ejector. I don't want to fight people, but if need, I will. Yeah, I think some of us fall under that category. You might recognize his mother from Disney's The Rookie with Dennis Quaid, played the wife in that film. A mockingbird. He found himself a mockingbird. Oh, and okay, she was also in Muriel's Wedding, says Tim.
Mhm.
And she was in a zombie love film called Warm Bodies. The only thing I've seen her in. The real did this back then. They had wartime messages prior to the films that they showed. It was a real thing. Really. This is made in Australia, so there are a few Aussies in this.
Oh yeah.
Uh, that's a nice fun fact. Whoa, that was a close one. I like her reaction here. Slap. You didn't ask for permission. He caught her off guard. That's twice he almost. Where's them spidey reflexes? His older brother shows up in uniform, meaning he's going to war. Needless to say, his dad's not so keen on the idea of his son sword fighting because he knows the horrors of war. I like that assessment. FKC 2005, sometimes known as Dim. That is a pretty good assessment of yeah, modern men. I say modern men, not us old. She finds the feather of the, I guess, a bluebird that he found out in the wild there. Now this is him and her going out on a hike in the area. See a waterfall.
Now, this is actually going to play into something later on that the movie kind of leaves out. And when we get to that point, I'll let you know. Hello, JPRPH1. All right. I forwarded something to you, Bill. Let me know if you got it. Okay, please. There's DOS arriving at Fort Jackson. We're going to meet the boys. Might see a couple of. Okay. All right. Hmm, hmm, think.
Hello, JPRPH1. Good to see you, my friend. They're playing silly grunt games.
Mhm.
Wonder if they got the idea from aliens. Here comes the drill instructor, Vince Vaughn. Oh,
Hmm.
he's got a knife sticking in his foot.
Mm-hmm.
I think this part might have been a little bit ad libbed by Vince Vaughn here. Help me on that. He's doing what drill sergeants do best. Private idiot. This is the way they actually taught soldiers to tie knots. Good private idiot. Like that. This is where Dominic Dawes and the U.S. Army become, well, they have a difference of opinion and mind here. They said, grab your girl. He's referring to the rifle, ladies and gentlemen.
Sam Worthington, of course, is you might remember from, of course, the Avatar films. Remake of Clash of the Titans, playing Captain Jack Glover. Richard Roxburgh, who you might recall from Mission Impossible 2, Moulin Rouge, and did the original version of the Rake TV series.
Timestamp 43 minutes and 47 seconds.
Yes, they are actively working against him at this point.
Yeah. This makes his unit strongly be against him. He's not a quitter. There you And he no rat either.
Nope.
You gotta admire his strong convictions and his beliefs.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, don't wave it around. Peter Gabriel? No. Shut up. And maybe that's reason number 2. So he puts on his old uniform and swings in action. Oh, the other one. Okay. The fella playing Desmond's lawyer here is Benedict Hardy, and if he looks familiar, he was the bad guy in Upgrade. If you've ever seen that, it's one we got to eventually do someday, Bill. And he's in The Invisible Man as well.
Dominic Doss just changed his plea.
Well, no. Excuse me, I'm an agent. Agent. Okay, thank you.
Agent Smith.
Technically, he should already be in the room by now. Here we go.
Hail, hail, Kanakari. Welcome.
Okay.
That's a good father.
Yep. Yeah. Be careful what you wish for. First things first. Okinawa, May 1945. Yeah.
basically the worst place on earth right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might want to take that off.
Now, one of the things that I want to make clear before we go any further into the movie is some of the more fantastical, some of the things that might seem Hollywood or more fantastical happened. And we're going to be talking about that before the end.
Ugh. One man buried in the ground, covered in maggots, and it's just very gory, very, very, very gory. Every realities of war. Wow, that's pretty cool. We're looking at a Lego mock-up of Hacksaw Ridge. Oh my god! Oh,
We'll see him soon enough. Yeah, no, that's good. Found him. Huh. Yeah.
oh, we're in the thick of it now. Oh,
Yeah. All right. Did Cosme pause for anybody else?
This movie could be a trip. This is he's got to take basically a bomb and put it in the bunker to get to blow up the bunker where the German where the Japs are hiding. That bunker's gone. Wow. Now that takes some balls. I mean, you're using the guy as a shield, but you're still going to feel that blast, and it will shake you up. Ghoul. They already incurred a whole heap of losses.
My apologies to those of you who have lost Cosme. I am in the same boat.
Oh, why you guys should have told
So
me.
we've been trying to for about 10 minutes, Bill.
We have.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't see any. Will you sit back? You is Cosme
I'm
back?
I'm I am seeing a spinning circle. I have refreshed multiple times.
I'm sorry, guys. Now?
Yeah, I can see it now.
Eh. Sorry for the loss, guys. Maybe go back 5 minutes.
Yeah, it might be best.
So
All right,
so Ghoul's now going to try to bust up the bunker with that bomb.
Mhm.
Is that where you guys see?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Smitty's going to run in and take Seth's charge. What's that one? Hmm. Yeah, they're gone hand to hand. Grenade. Hmm. Ah, hurt cap.
Our timestamp is 1 hour, 25 minutes, 39 seconds.
We'll use, I finally want Smitty over here.
Yeah. The one who was just such a hard ass and hard ass on him, too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Tim. Wow. You could actually visit a place like that? That's amazing.
Jeez.
Uh, wow. That's impressive and very sad at the very same
Yeah.
time. For those who might I made it this far on a rewatch, in Cosme, there's a chat there, and people can share pictures. So sometimes we react to the pictures, and we thank you for sharing.
Mhm.
FKHC 2005, sometimes known as Tim.
And here's our kind of horror movie dream sequence.
So I guess your dad one never made it. Sorry to hear that. If that's the case.
Hmm. No, technically he hasn't, has he? No.
I think anybody who goes over and experiences war and combat will probably come in some way, shape, or form will come back with some form of PTSD.
Yeah.
Dawn
I'll be
break
right back, guys.
on Heartbreak Ridge. Hacksaw. Hacksaw Ridge, sorry. Damn.
All right, back with you. Mm.
Oh,
Yep.
oh, oh. That's some brutal combat right there. They also did the same thing in Saving Private Ryan with those type of rounds, mortar rounds.
Hmm. Ah,
Here comes the artillery from the U.S. Navy. Dominic, Dominic Dawes talking with the Almighty with a prayer, and he hears many cries of his guys crying out in pain and agony.
Back into the lion's den. But of course, as we're going to find out, there's still a lot of men still up on the ridge.
Yep. If you're not scared, you're a liar or a coward.
Mm.
These two guys
Yeah.
see one other guy coming down the thing.
And if the Colonel looks familiar, it's another Australian actor named Matt Nable, who you Arrow fans might remember as Ra's al Ghul. And of course, he was also in the Third Riddick And I think there's like a season of the Mr. In Between series that he's in as well.
Wasn't Ra's al Ghul a character from that Batman Begins? And
Yeah, but since they pretty much made Green Arrow Batman, he was in that as well.
oh,
So there were some characters that intersected.
I see. Wow. The Japs don't take prisoners; they just kill you.
Yeah.
I like what he does here.
Yeah.
He has to do this.
Yeah. Has to literally bury the guy alive to save him.
Yep. The Japs don't even trust the dead.
No.
It's a good thing that that bayonet went through the side and not all the way through the body shield.
Yeah.
It missed.
I mean, tactically, that's the thing to do, in a
Yeah.
situation like that.
Wow. 3 battalions. Ugh. A lot of men. That's a lot of man force.
Yeah. Oh, hello. Poor guy did himself in. Wounded Japanese. And the interesting thing is, like, this dude is like even hiding out from his own guys, you know? Because he could have just said, "Hey, I'm over here." And this is the second night on the ridge or the third, Bill? Third. No, third. Okay, no, I remember. Mhm. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. I don't think we have time to talk about it, Sarge. Let's move. Well, he still used a rifle. He just didn't use it as a rifle. Yeah, he gets that a lot. It's the guy we're not going up there without, sir. Which at this point was true because in actual life, these guys did not make a move. Got to the point to where they so respected him that they did not make a move unless he said a prayer first. That was true. Is our final charge.
Yeah, they weren't going to go up back up there without DOS.
Yep. Daniel Barry Sports Highlights. Hello. Sorry I didn't say so earlier.
Sucky.
Yep.
And they're not really giving up. They're just,
No, they fought to the last man.
yeah.
He pushes Glover out of the way, bats one away, kicks the second grenade away, and boom.
You got to go back and get the book. Samurai's death.
Yep.
They have a whole
Seppuku.
ritual behind it. What? Who? I forget. They have a name for it. What?
Seppuku.
Then the removable head. The head. Tim. He was headstrong. That's one way of putting it.
Crucifixion and resurrection. Desmond Doss carried 75 wounded men to safety on Hacksaw Ridge. He was the first conscientious objector to receive the Medal of Honor, America's highest award for courage under fire. Desmond and Dorothy were married until her death in 1991. Of his own heroics, he remained characteristically modest, giving all the credit to God. Desmond in 2003. He said simply, "The real heroes are buried over there." And of course, his brother Hal, who he hit in the head with the brick. Desmond Doss passed away at the age of 87 in March of 2006. All right. So that was Hacksaw Ridge.
Yep.
Shall I consult the scrolls?
You shall consult the scrolls, please.
All right. Hacksaw Ridge was released November 4th, 2016. Estimated budget of 40 million, going on to gross worldwide over 181 million. Was nominated for 6 Academy Awards, including Best Picture, Best Director Mel Gibson, Best Actor Andrew Garfield. Nominated for sound editing, going on to win for sound mixing and film editing. Went on to be to win 55 other awards with 115 nominations, including 3 Golden Globes. Filming locations included Sydney, New South Wales, Goulburn, New South Wales, Camden, New South Wales, Australia, of course, Newington Armory, Sydney Olympic Park, New South Wales, Australia for Fort Jackson, and at Disney Studios, Moore Park, Sydney, New South Wales, Australia. Script was completed November 22nd, 2011. Film went into pre-production May 28th to December 14th, 2012. Went into turnaround. Attempts to redevelop the film on July 9th, 2013, January 17th, 2014, and July 17th, 2014. In which the film finally went back into pre-production November 20th, 2014, January 29th, 2015, August 2015. Film was eventually shot in the fall, beginning at September 19th, 2015. All right. On to the trivia. Randall Wallace was previously set to direct. Screenwriter and producer Gregory Crosby originally brought this project to the table. Stan Jensen from the Seventh-day Adventist Church took the story to screenwriter and producer Gregory Crosby in late 1990s. Vince Vaughn's involvement was his first visit to Australia since Dodgeball, a true underdog story. During filming, he explored Sydney and its attractions and made headlines when he participated in a public climb of the Sydney Harbour Bridge. Teresa Palmer worked on this movie in Melbourne while finalizing her work on the film The Berlin Syndrome in the same city. The film had a 14-year path from idea to production, according to an article in Variety. This is Milo Gibson's film debut. He's Mel Gibson's son. This is their first cinematic collaboration. James Horner was originally hired to compose the score. He had previously collaborated with Mel Gibson on The Man Without a Face, Braveheart, and Apocalypto. After Horner's death, John Debney, the composer of The Passion for the Christ, was chosen. His completed score was rejected, and Rupert Gregson Williams replaced him for the final cut. Desmond Doss was a member of the U.S. Army's 77th Infantry Division, known as the Liberty Division, for its distinctive insignia of a gold Statue of Liberty on a blue isosceles trapezoid background. The 77th fought in Guam, Leyte in the Philippines, and Okinawa. One of its units, Company C of the 306th Infantry Regiment, left the U.S. in 1944 with 203 officers and men. By the war's end in August 1945, just 13 of the original members were left. The 77th fought alongside the Marines, and a newspaper article during the war described how the division's soldiers fought so well at Guam that they earned the ultimate compliment. The Leathernecks nicknamed their Army counterparts the 77th Marine Division. Famed war correspondent Ernie Pyle was killed by an enemy sniper while covering the 77th on Lashima, a small island off the west coast of Okinawa. The 77th was part of the Allied force that occupied Japan after hostilities ceased and was deactivated on March 15th, 1946. However, the lineage of the 77th Infantry Division has since been inherited and continued by the 77th Sustainment Brigade, a unit of the U.S. Army Reserve, raised in 1963, which remains in service and uses the same insignia as the 77th Infantry Division. Desmond Doss was not the first conscientious objector to receive the Medal of Honor. Sergeant Alvin C. York was also a conscientious objector. Gary Cooper portrayed him in Sergeant York. According to Wikipedia, York denied that he had been a conscientious objector. York carried a weapon. Doss did not. The trailer states that Desmond Doss was the only soldier to serve in a frontline capacity without carrying a weapon. In World War II, Korea, and Vietnam, the military gave several Seventh-day Adventists the status of 1A-O. Willing to serve, but not to carry a weapon in combat. Numerous Quakers volunteered for service in World War I. The first film directed by Mel Gibson since Apocalypto. The film received a standing ovation, lasting 9 minutes and 48 seconds at the Venice Film Festival in September 2016. Mel Gibson timed it. One aspect that appealed to Mel Gibson in making this movie was that it contained a, quote, real superhero without spandex. Gibson stated that if Desmond Doss were alive today, he would want him to be president of the United States. Gibson stated that Desmond Doss was the first conscientious objector in American history to be awarded the Medal of Honor and has inspired others to save almost the same number of lives. Those inspired have gone on to become recipients of the Medal of Honor. Hal B. Wallace had previously tried to buy this story from Desmond Doss in the 1950s and hoped Audie Murphy would star. Doss didn't want his story turned into a typical Hollywood movie. When Dorothy gives Desmond Doss the Bible before leaving for basic training, it is bookmarked at 1 at Samuel 17. This is the Old Testament account of David and Goliath. Vince Vaughn says the line, "Well, Dorothy, looks like we're not in Kansas anymore," a reference to the Wizard of Oz. To Jon Favreau's failed chat-up line in Swingers, which Vaughn also starred.
Yep.
Harry S. Truman, U.S. president at that time, gave Desmond Doss his Medal of Honor, as we saw at the end of the film. Smitty Riker, as played by Luke Bracey, states multiple times how hot he thinks Dorothy Shute is. Teresa Palmer played his love interest in the remake of Point Break. The biblical passage narrated by Desmond Doss at the beginning of the film is from the book of Isaiah, chapter 40. The film was shot in 59 days. The battle scenes took 19 days to shoot. According to director Mel Gibson, Desmond Doss's son, Desmond Jr., attended the screening and was moved to tears by Andrew Garfield's accurate portrayal of his dad. In order to make the battle scenes look more realistic, Mel Gibson purchased two $1,500 handheld cameras with his own money.
Wow.
The battlefield sequence overseen by Mel Gibson's longtime stunt double Mick Rogers, a.k.a. the guy he jumps off the ledge with in Lethal Weapon.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy wound up being his stunt double from pretty much then on. Was filmed on a small... the battlefield sequence overseen by Mel Gibson's longtime stunt double Mick Rogers was filmed on a small dairy farm about 100 square kilometers near Sydney, Australia. Smoke trucks circled the perimeter to make sure any scenery that didn't look like World War II Okinawa was effectively blocked out. Teresa Palmer wanted a role in the film so badly that she auditioned via her iPhone and sent the recording to Mel Gibson. She heard nothing back for 3 months until Gibson called Palmer to tell her in a Skype chat that she landed the role of Dorothy. That was his wife. Mel Gibson said that the battle scenes were influenced by nightmares he had during his childhood when his father, Hutton Gibson, a World War II veteran who served in Guadalcanal in the Pacific Theater, described the horrors he witnessed as bedtime stories. Aaron Snyder was previously set to direct, and he eventually went on to direct Greyhound, the Tom Hanks movie, World War II submarine film. It's on Apple TV. It's actually pretty good. Check it out. In an interview, Desmond Doss
minus Tom Hanks and his political views, right?
Yeah, minus that, of course. It actually is a pretty straightforward film. In an interview, Desmond Doss stated that he did not feel like a hero. The real heroes are still buried over there, he said. One of the philosophies the Japanese soldiers on Hacksaw Ridge was to target and eliminate medics and BAR, Browning Automatic Riflemen. Their objective in doing so was to lower American soldiers' morale and make them easier to defeat. However, the Americans found out about this and took their countermeasures. Medics removed their armbands and helmets with the Red Cross on them so they could not be easily identified and targeted. BAR men took extra precautions as well, contributed greatly to the Japanese defeat on Hacksaw Ridge. As pointed out in the chat, the Wilhelm scream is heard at 1:22:10 during the assault on the bunker. In 2004, Terry Benedict directed The Conscientious Objector, a documentary on the life of Desmond Doss. The film was produced mostly before Doss died, and it reveals many small details that were changed for the Hollywood release. In the documentary, Doss reveals his nonviolence was inspired by a drunken fight between his father and his uncle, in which a gun was involved. If his mother hadn't gotten between them, taken the gun and given it to Desmond and told him to hide it, his father may have killed his own brother-in-law. Desmond said that was the defining moment in which he swore to never carry a gun. Experts at GoldDerby.com had widely predicted the film to be the Academy Award frontrunner for sound editing. Arrival won instead, while this film won 2 Oscars that La La Land had been predicted to win. With the exception of Vince Vaughn, the rest of the major actors and supporting cast were born or raised in England or Australia. The film had a relatively low budget, and the production needed majority Australian cast to qualify for Australian government subsidies. Hugo Weaving played Johann Schmidt, aka Red Skull, in Captain America: The First Avenger, and Desmond and Thomas Doss, Desmond's father, in this film, both of which are set in World War II. Mel Gibson was originally meant to play Sergeant Howell, but passed on the role to Vince Vaughn in order to stay focused on directing the film. All right. Ghoul was played by Gordon T. Clute. The film was released on his 41st birthday. The only Best Picture Oscar nominee not to be nominated in any of the writing categories. The film showing in the theater is the 1943 submarine movie Destination Tokyo, starring Cary Grant and John Garfield. As they march in Okinawa, the sergeant tells someone singing to knock it off. The private responds by saying Killjoy was here. This is a pun referring to the popular graffiti art and tagline Kilroy was here. Most commonly used in the European theater, it represents an imaginary voyeur who serves as a silent witness and statement of presence most anywhere that American foot soldiers happen to be. Part of the 77th Liberty Division were members of the Lost Battalion in World War I. Both Andrew Garfield and Hugo Weaving have portrayed Marvel characters. Hugo Weaving, of course, the villain Red Skull, Captain America, and Andrew Garfield in both The Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2 and Spider-Man No Way Home. The knot Doss accidentally ties during training and uses later to wound the lower soldiers down is a Spanish bowline. It's also known as a bowline in a bite and is taught as a rescue knot since it can be used for exactly the way Doss does, as a harness raising and lowering someone. All right. The weapon Sergeant Howell uses is an M3 45 caliber ACP submachine gun known as the Grease Gun or Greaser. It received its name because it resembles the common garage tool. It came to use late in the war, supplanting the venerable Thompson submachine gun. It was not a general issue use weapon. It was not a general issue weapon to infantrymen. Normally, it was meant to be the crew weapon on a tank due to its compactness, firepower, and maneuverability in confined spaces, like in a tank, or for officers both non-commissioned and commissioned in their special units. Many, however, did find their way to the regular frontline troops in mid-1944. Initially, the M3 was not popular. It had some mechanical faults and did not look like a reliable weapon to the soldiers using them, especially when compared to the more elegant Thompson. But the M3 eventually won their respect with its advantages and effectiveness in action. The feed system consisted of a 30-round detachable box magazine. This earlier model weapon had a cocking lever on the side that you could see during some scenes in the movie if you look closely. Later models, the M3A1, were charged by simply pulling back on the bolt and by inserting your finger into a recess in the bolt. The M3's handle eliminated, with the M3 handles eliminated, to speak. With the M3's handle eliminated due to complaints of it breaking under rigorous use, the M3A1 wire stock included a tab to help load magazines. The ends were threaded to accept a cleaning brush to clean the barrel, as well as being used as a wrench to unscrew the barrel for disassembly. The M3A1 went on to serve the U.S. Army from the end of World War II up to its own replacement by the M4 carbine in the 1990s, commonly accompanying tank crewmen. Some examples may have served for longer in the U.S. military, and other nations continue to use them actively. The weapon was manufactured by, among others, General Motors Headlight Division and cost about $20 a piece, as opposed to the Thompson, which cost about $100 a piece, even after being simplified. In 2016, the unit cost to manufacture the M3 was approximately $208. The war movie The Light Horseman in 1987, set during World War I, features a pacifist character who does not kill. Hacksaw Ridge features a central character who is also a pacifist character, with his pacifism in World War II being a major theme in the picture. It was released 29 years after The Light Horseman and was directed by Mel Gibson, who starred in the classic Australian feature film about World War I, Gallipoli, in 1981, which was directed by Peter Weir. Gallipoli and The Light Horseman share two major filming locations: Port Lincoln and the Flinders Ranges, located in South Australia. Gallipoli and The Light Horseman won several AFI ACTA Australian Film Awards, including Best Film, with The Light Horseman winning a couple of AFI awards, the same number as Hacksaw Ridge won Oscars. As they march in Okinawa... oh, no, I did that already. Hold on. Okay, I'll read that last. Movies about military actions that result in the award of the Medal of Honor include the following: Hacksaw Ridge, Desmond Doss, Okinawa, World War II, To Hell and Back, Audie Murphy, Comar Pocket in Southern France, World War II, Black Hawk Down, Gary Gordon and Randy Shugart, Mogadishu, Somalia, and Sergeant York, Alvin York, Moose Aragon Forest, World War I. Additionally, the television miniseries Rough Riders, Theodore Roosevelt, San Juan Hill, Kettle Hill, Spanish-American War, and The Longest Day, which has one episode about Theodore Roosevelt Jr., Utah Beach, D-Day, World War II. Some characters in the movie, such as Captain Jack Glover, actually existed in real life. Desmond Doss's nickname was Preacher. Under normal circumstances, soldiers do not salute indoors, with few exceptions. One, reporting for pay call, which no one does in the pay call scene, despite this being required. Two, ceremonial formations, such as in a gymnasium. Three, when reporting to a board, i.e. a promotion interview board. Or four, when reporting to an officer, e.g. being summoned by the company commander. Furthermore, Doss salutes the court-martial panel, which is improper because soldiers in custody are denied the privilege of saluting in all circumstances. The battle scene is located 400 feet above sea level, a distance the soldiers had to ascend. However, the cliff the soldiers had to climb using cargo nets was 30 feet high, not nearly as high as the one depicted in the film. This is sad but true, I'm sorry to say. When Dorothy Doss died in 1991 from injuries suffered in an automobile accident. Rest in peace. According to the Geneva Convention, it is considered a serious war crime to shoot at a marked medic. This covered the period of World War II. Desmond Doss enlisted in the U.S. Army Medical Corps as a non-combatant. Therefore, it did not matter whether or not he was a conscientious objector. He was not expected to carry a weapon. Had he been trained as a medic prior to being assigned to a rifle company, he would not have been required to carry a weapon. During World War II, German soldiers generally did not shoot at marked medics. As you see in, if you've ever seen Band of Brothers. Yeah. The reason why they don't shoot at Malarkey in that one scene is because they think he's a medic. And so they didn't want to shoot the medics because they think, hey, who knows? Maybe they'll take pity on me and fix me up. But okay. The Japanese had no such thoughts. They would shoot the medics. Japan, on the other hand, did not abide by the Geneva Convention and committed numerous war crimes, including specifically targeting marked medics. Colonel Cooney is identified as Lieutenant Colonel Cooney in the film's credits. He wore the proper insignia for full-board colonel in the film. Colonel Cooney was a real person. He was a colonel during this time period. The soldier Doss helps at 1 hour 16 minutes. Loses his legs in an explosion. He's played by a former Australian Special Forces commando, Damien Tomlinson, who lost both of his legs in 2009 while serving in Afghanistan. An IED blast obliterated one leg and tore off the other below the knee. His arms were also severely injured, with the elbow on his right arm coming out through a hole. Both hands and wrists were broken. He had a dislocated.
Oh. Damn it.
Oh, what happened?
I hit that new feature and I don't even know how to get it back. Like, okay, I hit it. Now how do I get it back? Okay, that was weird.
And we lost our background too. Oh, well.
Okay,
All right. I'll go on. Okay, I'll just redo this one. The soldier Das helps at 76 minutes in, who loses his legs in an explosion, is played by former Australian Special Forces Commando Damian Tomlinson, who lost both his legs in 2009 while serving in Afghanistan. An IED blast obliterated one leg and tore off the other below the knee. His arms were also severely injured, with the elbow on his right arm coming out through a hole. Both hands and wrists were broken. He had a dislocated shoulder and a broken nose. He nearly choked on blood from his cut lips pouring down his throat. The sound of him wheezing alerted others to the fact that he was still alive. This is the third World War II movie for Sam Worthington, after Hearts War in 2002 and The Great Raid in 2005. That's one we should do sometime soon.
Yeah.
Director cameo. Mel Gibson is in the film. During the final assault, after Desmond Doss is injured and carried in the new hanging platform to be transferred down, several soldiers assist. One of them is Gibson.
Huh. Well, that's something to look for.
Yep. Mel Gibson turned down the opportunity to direct this film twice, ultimately agreeing to direct. He had previously declined to direct Braveheart twice before agreeing to direct. Desmond Doss's son, Desmond Jr., served as a military consultant during the film's production to ensure the accurate portrayal of his father's experiences. In 2004, Doss was awarded the Congressional Gold Medal, one of the highest civilian honors in the United States, in recognition of his contributions and heroism during the war. After the war, Doss worked as a carpenter and later became a maintenance supervisor at a local hospital in Georgia. Japan has practiced Bushido for centuries, and honor is not taken to heart lightly. Bushido means the way of the warrior, a moral code concerning samurai attitude, behavior, and lifestyle. To surrender is unspeakable and a disgrace. Japan has garnered a reputation as formidable, resilient, and brutal. During a conversation at the beginning of the deployment, traumatized soldiers warned the new unit, they don't care if they live or die. They want to die. They keep coming at you. Shortly before the events of this film, Japan had attacked the Pearl Harbor military base in Hawaii. Japanese pilots would carry out kamikaze suicide attacks, meaning divine win. Kamikaze meaning divine win in Japanese. They would commit suicide by nosediving their planes into enemy warships. The modern-day soldiers of that time would also commit seppuku, also known as harakiri in the West. Seppuku is a samurai code where, upon defeat, in order to restore honor and rid oneself of shame, a fallen warrior would disembowel himself and have someone decapitate their head with a katana simultaneously. As a testament of their resiliency and strength, Japan has defeated the Mongols, Russia, and China during wars in the past. Actors Ryan Corr and Sam Parsonson portray Lieutenant Manville, and who is the guy who winds up blowing himself up with the other soldier, the Japanese soldier, and 96th soldier Bob, respectively. He was the guy who he had to bury alive to save. They have both portrayed Australian soldiers in media about the First World War's Gallipoli campaign. Corr as Art in The Water Diviner, which was directed and stars Russell Crowe. And Parsonson as Dave Klein in Gallipoli. Director Mel Gibson also starred as Frank Dunn in the same film, Gallipoli, 1981.
Yeah.
When asked how many lives he saved, Desmond Doss said about 50. Witnesses said it was closer to 100. A mutual agreement was reached at 75. The title card at the end of the film says Desmond saved 75 men by directly lowering them from the escarpment. He also treated around 55 more who were able to retreat without further assistance. Over the course of his tour, which lasted approximately 3 weeks, he rescued nearly 300 men.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
Very impressive.
Yeah.
It just shows you don't need a weapon to serve. You still can do something active and good.
Yeah. Private First Class Desmond Doss was not wounded, evacuated in the daylight at Hacksaw. She was wounded a couple of weeks later in the Okinawa campaign, a night attack near Shire. Per his Medal of Honor citation, above which I'm going to read at the end, he was wounded in the legs by a grenade, had to wait 5 hours before stretcher bearers could reach him, during which time he dressed his own wounds. While being carried back to safety by 3 stretcher bearers, they were attacked by a Japanese tank. Doss crawled off the stretcher to a more seriously wounded man and insisted the others evacuate that soldier, then return for him. While waiting for the stretcher to return, he was shot by a sniper as he was being carried by another soldier. This caused a compound fracture of his arm, for which he improvised a splint using a rifle stock. He then crawled 300 yards to an aid station for treatment.
Wow.
Oh, but wait, there's more. Gibson stated there were aspects of this event that were true, but he couldn't include in the film because he felt people wouldn't believe they were true. Doss stepped on a grenade to save his buddies and was hit by shrapnel, but as he was being carried away by medics, he saw another soldier injured. Since Doss himself was a medic, he jumped off his stretcher, treated that soldier, and told medics to take care of the other wounded soldiers. He then crawled back to safety while being shot at by enemy snipers. While lowering men down the ridge, a Japanese soldier had Doss in his sights several times, and every time he did, his gun jammed, preventing him from shooting him. This was also for fear that no one would believe it in reality. Doss's Bible went missing as he dragged himself to safety. Months after he was shipped home, he found it in the mail. His entire company, which once mocked him for his convictions, searched all over Hacksaw until they found it. When the Doss family eats supper and Desmond's brother enters wearing an army uniform, Desmond only has vegetables on his plate. Later in the foxhole, Desmond refuses canned meat, saying he doesn't eat meat. In real life, Desmond was a vegetarian, like many Seventh-day Adventists.
Wow.
Desmond lived a long and happy life with Dorothy and their son Tommy on a small farm in northwestern Georgia. Despite his injuries and the lingering effect of the tuberculosis he contracted during the war, Desmond and Dorothy were together just shy of 50 years until her death in 1991. He married Frances Duman in 1993 and remained with her until his death in 2006. At the age of 87. Several events were changed or left out of the movie. Desmond almost shooting his father after a fight with his mother. In real life, the fight was between Desmond's father and his uncle. His mother stepped in to take away the gun, getting Desmond to hide it. Desmond had an older sister, Audrey, who was not portrayed in the film. Desmond didn't meet Dorothy while she was a nurse at a hospital. They met when she came to his church selling Adventist books. She became a nurse after the war. He didn't miss their wedding by being put in holding cell. They were already married by that point. Desmond's prior combat at the Battle of Guam and the Battle of Leyte is skipped over, making it seem as if the Battle of Okinawa was his first combat experience. The assault on Hacksaw Ridge seems to only last a few days, although Desmond's Medal of Honor citation covers events over about 3 weeks, and the Battle of Okinawa itself lasted 82 days. While only listed as Japanese general in the credits, the seppuku scene shows the death of General Usajima Michiru, the commanding officer of the 32nd Army, which bore the brunt of the fighting on Okinawa. The details, as shown, were relayed by his chief of staff, Colonel Yahara Hiromichi. Das is wounded by a hand grenade during the final assault in the film. As he's being evacuated to an aid station, he was shot in the arm by a sniper. The shooting is not included in the film. Early in the movie, a young Das hits his brother with a brick, causing a rather severe wound. After that, his father takes off his belt in order to punish him. Later in the film, Das saves a man's life by sliding a brick under a car that was crushing him and stopping the bleeding with his belt. Symbolism.
Yep.
And also true. All right. In case anybody was wondering, the link I put in the credits, and hello to LDG. Good to see you, sir.
Yeah.
The link that I put in all of the chats is actually a video on this film that goes deeper into some of the more fantastical, let's say, things that were true. One of the things that gets left out of even the IMDb was I had mentioned that Desmond's rock climbing skills came in handy in battle. He was one of the guys who went up and tied together the ropes that they eventually attached to the nets to climb up the cliff. So technically, Desmond was the first guy to climb up there. Yeah, and he did it free-handed. So yeah.
The scrolls. We still got more scrolls.
Nope.
Or...
I have one more, and okay. This is the. I know it's late, guys. Thank you for staying with us. Desmond Doss's Medal of Honor citation verbatim. The President of the United States of America, in the name of Congress, takes pleasure in presenting the Medal of Honor to Private First Class Desmond Thomas Doss, United States Army, for conspicuous gallantry and intrepidity in action above and beyond the call of duty, April 29th to 21 May 1945, while serving with the Medical Detachment 307th Infantry Regiment, 77th Infantry Division in action at Iraso Mora, Okinawa, Ryukyu Islands. Private First Class Das was a company aide man when the 1st Battalion assaulted a jagged escarpment 400 feet high. As our troops gained the summit, a heavy concentration of artillery, mortar, and machine gun fire crashed into them, inflicting approximately 75 casualties, driving the others back. Private First Class Das refused to seek cover and remained in the fire-swept area with the many stricken, carrying them one by one to the edge of the escarpment, and there lowering them on a rope supported litter down the face of a cliff into friendly hands. On 2 May, he exposed himself to heavy rifle and mortar fire in rescuing a wounded man 200 yards forward of the lines and on the same escarpment. And 2 days later, he treated 4 men who had been cut down while assaulting a strongly defended cave. Advancing through a shower of grenades to within 8 yards of enemy forces in a cave's mouth, where he dressed his comrades' wounds before making 4 separate trips under fire to evacuate them to safety. On 5 May, he unhesitatingly braved enemy shelling and small arms fire to assist an artillery officer. He applied bandages and moved his patient to a spot that offered protection from small arms fire, and while artillery and mortar shells fell close by, painstakingly administered plasma. Later that day, when an American was severely wounded by fire from a cave, Private First Class Doss crawled to him where he had fallen 25 feet from the enemy position, rendered aid, and carried him 100 yards to safety while continually exposed to enemy fire. On 21st May, in a night attack on a high ground near Shuri, he remained in exposed territory while the rest of his company took cover, fearlessly risking the chance that he would be mistaken for an infiltrating Japanese and giving aid to the injured until he himself was seriously wounded in the legs by the explosion of a grenade. Rather than call another aid man from cover, he cared for his own injuries and waited 5 hours before litter bearers reached him and started carrying him to cover. The trio was caught in an enemy tank attack, and Private First Class Doss, seeing a more critically wounded man nearby, crawled off the litter and directed the bearers to give their first attention to the other man. Awaiting the litter bearer's return, he was again struck, this time suffering a compound fracture of one arm. With magnificent fortitude, he bound a rifle stock to his shattered arm as a splint, and then crawled 300 feet over rough terrain to the aid station. Through his outstanding bravery and unflinching determination in the face of desperately dangerous conditions, Private First Class Doss saved the lives of many soldiers. His name became a symbol throughout the 77th Infantry Division for outstanding gallantry far above and beyond the call of duty. General Orders, War Department, General Orders number 97, November 1st, 1945. And with that,
the scrolls are closed.
the scrolls are closed.
All right. Well, do come back next week. Our feature will be Courage Under Fire. Denzel Washington and Meg Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
And we have that next week. We have Extra Dose this Saturday with Operation Dumbo Drop.
With Danny Glover, Ray Liotta,
yep.
and Dennis Leary, and Parker Lewis himself, Corin Nemec.
Mm-hmm. And then on Sunday, since it's Mother's Day, a Western film for the mothers, and we'll be doing The Man from Snowy River, Disney's The Man from Snowy River from 1982. I want to let you guys know that tomorrow I will be doing a stream in the afternoon, about the same time that we started today, about 2:30. It's 4:30 Eastern, for my 7th anniversary, or sixth anniversary, heading into year 7 anniversary here on YouTube. I'll be doing that stream tomorrow.
Right.
Thank you, everybody, for coming. As I always say at the end of these things, always remain to be excellent to each other. Party on. And we'll see you on the next one. Now, what you got deleted?
All right. I do want to thank everyone who joined us here for the show. We did have over 100 people watching us at one point, so thank you very much for that. And please, look further into the story of Desmond Doss, because it doesn't end here. There was a lot more. So please look into that. Check out that video that I left a link up for in the chat as well. And join me later on tonight at 11 p.m. Eastern for my program Coming Attractions. And you'll get to find out what's going on with me in the next week. Of course, if you like what you see here on the show, please subscribe to both my channel and Bill's. Memberships are available, and I want to thank Connie Cleary once again for leaving the member chat back at the beginning of the show.
You're a rock star, Connie. We love
Indeed. You. And as I always say, at the end of every broadcast from HQ, our second home office in Arizona, and all points north, south, east, west, and beyond, good night, take care, stay strong, be safe and healthy, because this is how we win.